Hey, I'm Jeremy from Radio King, and today I want to show you how to read your radio stats. If you run an internet radio project, I'm sure you will be happy to know how many people listen to your stream, when they listen, and where they listen from. So let's open the Radio Manager and click on the Statistics tab. Alright, there's quite a few subtabs in here. Today I want to go through all of them. First is the At the Moment tab. It is basically a picture of who is listening to your radio in real time. You can see the exact number of listeners, where they're listening from, and what their IP address is. On the map, when you see a red pin, it means that one person is listening from that country. When you see a blue or yellow circle, it means that several people are listening from that particular country. Feel free to zoom in or click on the circles to see more details. Please bear in mind that the location is never 100% precise. On the left-hand side, you have a list of connected IP addresses. You will see the ones that are connected the longest at the top of the list. If for some reason you want to kick or disconnect a listener, you can do so by clicking on the three dots. If you ban an IP, it means that this listener will never be able to listen to your radio again. Next is the Unique Listeners tab. Throughout this tutorial, we will make a distinction between unique listeners and sessions. If a listener connects to your radio, let's say, 3 times in a given day, we will count 1 unique listener and 3 sessions. So the number of sessions will always be greater than the number of unique listeners. Let's have a look at the unique listeners figures. The table at the top gives you an overview of the significant values. You will see how many unique listeners connected to your radio yesterday, in the last 7 days, in the last 30 days, in the 30 days before the last 30 days, and in the last month. If you are reading your stats on the 15th of April, for example, the last month figure would correspond to the month of March. The graph gives you an idea of the evolution of the number of unique listeners over time. You can choose the period you want to observe by using the date picker. Once you have selected the time frame, you can choose to display the evolution by day, by week, by month, using the buttons located above the graph. Feel free to hover over the graph to display the figures. These values are also displayed in the table below the graph. Finally, if you need to export those stats, you will be able to do so by clicking on the Export link. You will then be able to read and compute those figures using Excel or any other spreadsheet software. Let's have a look at the Sessions tab. As I explained earlier, the sessions add up when a listener connects to your radio several times during a given period. So if Linda listened to your radio 10 times last week, she will be counted as 1 unique listener and 10 listening sessions. The Session tabs works exactly like the previous one, so I won't go into much detail. You have your summary at the very top, the date picker, and the evolution graph. Don't forget that you can also export these stats as a CSV file. The next tab shows the total number of hours your radio was listened to over a certain period of time. Let's say yesterday 10 people listened to your radio for an hour each. It means that the total length of listening sessions for yesterday on your radio is 10 hours. Again, you can explore the evolution of those figures over time by choosing the period and exporting the results if necessary. At the very bottom of this page, you will also find some information about the distribution of those listening sessions throughout the day. Here I can see that my radio is mostly listened to in the afternoon, but I also have a bunch of listeners in the mornings and evenings. In the following pie chart, we give you an idea of the distribution of the session duration for your radio. Here, for example, I can see that 14% of the sessions on my radio last between 5 and 15 minutes. Alright, now you want to know where in the world people listen to your radio. The Location tab is for you. You will find a date picker at the top of the page to narrow down the result to a given period. You can hover over the map to display the listening percentage for a country during that period. In the table below the map, you will find a detail of the number of sessions and unique listeners, as well as the percentage per country. Feel free to sort the table by any of those parameters if needed. and feel free to export the results as per usual. In the Sources tab, you will have an overview of the type of devices your listeners are using to connect to your radio. The first table gives you a picture of the distribution of your audience according to the device used. As you can see, we can't always detect the device. That's why we have this other figure here. Here you have the distribution of your listening session through the different listening platforms. We show you the 7 most used platforms, and the rest is in Other. And finally, at the bottom, you will find a complete list of platforms used to listen to your radio. You can sort them by total duration, average duration, number of sessions, number of listeners, and percentage of listeners. As you can see, some of the platform names here are easier to read than others. We display the name that the platform provides to us, so in some cases, it's not so explicit. And again, you can export these results by clicking on the Export button. In this music section, you will be able to know the highest and the lowest rated songs on your radio station. The ranking is based on votes made by your listeners via the Radio King listening platform and the radio player widget. You can select a time frame with the date picker, and you can switch from top to flop to see the highest or lowest rated songs using the button at the top right. Feel free to use this information to optimize your music programming. And that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please follow the Radio King YouTube channel for more videos, and see you soon.